give you a chance to take your hands off of me. And I was going to wait until he relaxed that grip to where I could handle my gun, and then I was going to reach and shoot him off of me. And he watched me for a few seconds, and he turned as white as that refrigerator there and just stepped backwards against the wall and says, wait a minute, let's argue this. And he and I was just out of the Army then, and I fell back on some of my Army lingo. Says, I'm not arguing with you, I've told you. And he told somebody afterwards, says, that man was going to shoot me. And I said, how strange. And so Fred Farley stood there, never moved a muscle, but he had a .45 in a holster back there, and I think they had recruited him right off of the, right out of the dead end of Chicago, but I realized before it was over that he didn't do a thing but join me, you know, to stay with me, and I still he knew how touchy it was, and there's no question but what he saved my life. I wish I knew where he was today. Yeah. I'm so sorry I lost track of him, lost contact. But he stands out as one of the nerviest men that I ever met. He went into a mob with me that neither of us thought we'd get out of. And he had no reason for going except just to be loyal to a co-worker or somebody. Yeah. that he really.
What was his name?
Fred Farley. And so that.
Well, let me go back to the Civil War just a little bit. Uncle General, now, did he fight in the Civil War?
Uncle General?
Yeah.
Uncle General, I don't like to talk about him. He was first on one side and then on the other.
Was it?
Yeah.
Who was he now, Uncle Ernest?
Uncle General?
Yeah.
Was Grandpa's own brother.
Uncle General Breland or Uncle
General O'Neill. No. And
Uncle Andy's
yeah. And he tried for a federal pension after the war was over, but they found that he had deserted.
He fought on both sides. Who's some of his kids?
Oh, he just Uncle Abby and Alfred. Abby and Alfred. Now Uncle Abby was one of his boys, and Alfred was the other. He had several girls, but I'm not clear on who they are. He had two old maids, Dexy and Mashley, the last, the younger one.
Actually, Alfred was Henry and Cat's father.
Alfred, was that Henry and Cab's father?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But how'd he fight on both sides?
Huh?
How'd he fight on both sides?
Well, you know, that was look what civil wars always do. You don't know,
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I think there's a lot of them. Yeah.
Uncle Ernest, which one of our grandpas was it that forded Strong River?
That was Grandpa Breland. He,
Strong River near Jackson.
he pretty well fought throughout the war. Grandpa Breland did, and I guess he was cavalry because he came down and one time he couldn't hear from home. You know, it'd been 6 months that he hadn't heard from home at all, so he just pulled out and left, came home, checked on everything,
And went back.
and then turned around and went back. So, and that was all right. And I don't know. Now, that's the time that he left his mule tied to a sapling somewhere up there, and they never did know what became of his mule. Evidently, you know, he left his mule tied to a sapling and just walked off. And so evidently, I expect somebody untied him, got his mule. But
Made a garden the next spring.
then I think when he was discharged, you see, Grant told them that was when Robert E. Lee handed him his sword. Excuse me. Grant handed it back to him and told him to discharge all of his soldiers and send them home and take their mounts with them, that they would need them. And so Grandpa Breland brought old Nance, and she became an institution there. And the swamp fields down there had been growing up for 4 years while he was gone. Yeah. And he told Grandma that from now on, says, if you want me to have dinner, says you must bring it to the field, because me and Nance are not going to stop anymore for dinner. And she'd bring his dinner to the field, and he'd just turn and sit on his livestock while he ate his dinner, and then, come on, Nance, let's go.
Yeah.
Uncle Ernest, where did they live?
Down to the Steve Berry place.
Steve Berry here.
Steve Berry, he had a swamp field.
Yeah.
Is it still going? I don't know, Uncle Ernest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And now we think we have a hard time.
Oh, yeah. Uncle Ernest, tell us a little bit about the Copeland gang and the relative that you had in.
I didn't know that. Well,
What year was this, Uncle Ernest?
what year?
What year was the Copeland game?
You say what year?
Yes.
Well, I don't know, but it's on record. You could find out at at the courthouse at New Augusta, I guess, if they got the records from Old Augusta, because they hung Jim Copeland at Old Augusta, and I think he was the last one to hang there. And you know, he told everybody. He told the sheriff that if he would furnish him all the whiskey that he could drink while he's waiting the gallows, they had already convicted him. He knew he was going to hang. That he would give him a detailed history of the Copeland clan and all of the members. And he did, and it was quite a history. But there is one volume now that is locked in the vaults of Southern. That's the only one that they know is in existence. As fast as they got out, everybody bought one, and some way they would disappear. Well, it had, and in fact, how it got this close home, that there was one, John T. Taylor, and somebody had the audacity to think there was old man John Taylor, but he had no T in his, he was just straight John Taylor. But it was John T. Taylor in the book.
Yeah, I see.
And of course, that I'm sure that Jim, it was another John.
Surely.
Yeah. But this old McGrath was, sometimes he was a preacher and sometimes he was a doctor, just whatever. When he was here, he had a place at the Sand Hill here, you know, the Poland Miles place, over here, the old Sand Hill.
Yeah.
Well, he was a doctor there, and Dr. McGrath. Well, you see, that gave people a chance to go in there from all of his cohorts, and then other places he'd go. He was a preacher, and he'd start a revival, and then his gang would get out and steal horses and niggers, and just make a sweep of it while they were all at his revival, you see. And
I've heard Paul talk about that.
And you heard when they convicted him, and this sheriff was Sheriff Gallagher, and so they were on the gallows, and a long-winded preacher was praying for his soul, and they was really going after it, you know, and got a little too long for old what's his name?
Copeland?
Huh?
Copeland?
Yeah, Jim Copeland. And Jim said, "Let her go, Gallagher," and he cut the rope. This preacher wasn't half through praying. Let her go, Gallagher. So when I was coming up, let her go, Gallagher.
What about this? You had a relative that got killed, though, didn't you?